Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here again. We're back with Owen for another extra time session. Nothing much else to say, Owen. Let's just crack on, mate. Just following on from the last video.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right. So before we click
Um,
anything, what do you think your size should be here versus a button limp and a small blind complete?
5.5, 6.
Yeah, like 6. I mean, we can. I've spoken with a few people playing these similar games, and no one ever seems to decide what's best. Fucking 10, 9, 11, even. Maybe just be like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to treat button like it's a min race, so I'm just going to squeeze through it. I don't fucking know, mate. I genuinely don't know what the correct answer is. I wouldn't like it if you went 4, for example. That's all. I think
Okay.
anything between 6 and fucking 12, and who gives it? Look at them: 72, 6, 90, 12, anything between 6 and 12, and then who fucking knows? I played these pools now for over a year, and I still don't know what the best size is when this happens. I still
Right.
haven't got a
Let's see
fucking
what.
clue. I haven't got the first idea. Just make it big.
Oh my lord.
No, don't make it that size.
No, that's too small. I think because we obviously just done the other video. I think influenced what I said to you about 6. I think this is probably what I would have done all week if I'm
Yeah,
honest, which is a mistake. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. If I was playing this starting from now, I would go 6, 7, 8, probably 6 or 7. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe bigger.
So I'm still not. When you'll be in these spots sometimes, but you won't have the suited stuff. Um, what would you do here if you had to say ace jack offsuit rather than ace queen suited? And I'm saying this now. This is like it's not really relevant to the video, but it's relevant to you and helping you improve. If you had an ace jack offsuit? What would you do?
If I had ace jack offsuit, would I raise it?
Yeah, that's basically the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yes. I think I should raise it
See, I don't think I would anymore. Um,
because of the person behind me.
just because it's like way less. It's got way less playability. Like Ace Queen suited, it's got good playability. We can obviously flop loads and loads of good top pairs.
Yeah,
We can flop loads of like two overs and back doors. We, we can. There's just it just flop. We're gonna flop flush draws. We're gonna flop in ways that we can be aggressive more often. Whereas Ace Jack off, if just say this board
yeah,
comes down 8, 5 deuce with one heart, we can. There's ways we can stay in the pot. If
yeah,
it's ace jack off and it comes down that same board, we're like, oh right, well that's shit then, isn't it? It's hard to
yeah,
stay aggressive. It's hard to be a check call. So I actually think something like the offsuits, like king queen off, ace jack off, I was isolating them all the time, and it was just leading to a lot of fucking misery because they were just calling two spots. So I'd make it 6 here. They both call. They get to a flop with 18 bigs in the middle. It'd be 9 high rainbow, and I'd be like,
give
well,
up. Yeah,
that's fucked then, isn't it? And you just end up just check folding way too often. So I think like with your good stuff, like ace king off, I would always isolate that. Ace queen off, probably. Ace jack off, probably not. But I would then isolate like ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, ace king suited. I know that the suit only gives us 5% more in like raw equity terms versus villain's range, but it just gives us so much more playability too, so many more reasons to
yeah,
stay in the pot and stay in
yeah,
the
yeah,
pot aggressively. So that with the offsuit stuff, I'd be less keen to like ISO, but with the suited stuff, yeah,
yeah,
just ISO and ISO big.
yeah, yeah. Right. Let's see what they say. He's called, thankfully. Right. Ooh, right.
Check. Seems like the most trivial one third bet I've ever seen in my life.
Right. I know why this is in here. Yeah, I think it's a 1/3 bet. This guy was bonkers. And I think I check this.
Is this the guy from the hand on the last video that like bet called pocket threes on king on that king?
Yes. And
Right.
then
Okay.
became very aggressive.
Yeah, so if you
I
want,
think,
just for a second, mate. So if anyone is watching this video and they haven't watched the previous video, go back and watch that first so you can see how this villain plays, because that's going to be relevant to our discussion this spot. But we're not going to
yeah,
revisit that hand because we already talked it to death. On the last video.
yeah,
We talked it to death, so we know what's happened. We know who this villain is. If you haven't watched the previous video, go and watch at least the end of it now because that was the last hand of the last video. Go and watch that, and then
yeah.
this is the same villain now. So we
Right.
know how this guy
I
plays.
yeah, I think thinking about it, he could have checked raised me, right? He could easily check raise me with nothing. But I think I check this knowing that he's gonna bluff. But I don't know. Let's see what I do. Oh, I've gone too far. Let me see. Right. Did I check? Right, here we go. Yeah, I check. Right. But it was purely, I wouldn't do that normally, but I'd seen this guy be very aggressive post plop. So I decided to check because I was a bit surprised when he checked at me.
Yep.
Uh, Um, and I thought, right, let's see what happens. Okay.
No, I like it. If you've got a
Yeah.
read, I have no
Yeah.
problem with it whatsoever. If you've got a read that if I think if I because the thing is he could have loads of hand that's just folding. He could just have like
Mm.
7-5 off. That's just gonna be like,
Yeah.
right. Okay, now I fold. I mean, the guy's playing 90 VPIP. He has all those that 7-5 off, 8-7 off, fucking 9-3 off. He has all that type
Yeah.
of shit in his range, and he's obviously folding nearly all of it. So if you have
Yeah.
a read that you think um, if we
I
check,
was,
he might
yeah.
start bluffing, then I have absolutely no problem with checking back a hand as strong as this here.
Yeah.
No problem whatsoever.
I was very surprised when he checked to me. Um, right. Let's see what happens. Check. I have to
Now,
bet now.
yeah, we have to start building a pot now. I mean, it's very likely he's just going to fold, but we have to start building a pot or trying to build a pot.
Right.
I
Let's
would
see
have
what
gone
happens.
bigger, to be honest. I mean, here, if he's got a hand that can call, he's going to call larger bet. When we
Mhm.
check back the flop, we typically don't want to be then betting small on turns. You know, if we check back flops, we just want to be using big bets on turns. I'd be like up at 75% here, maybe even small over bet because if he's as bad as we think he is, and he's got a hand like pocket threes, he's not folding. If he's got king high, he's not maybe not folding. Yeah, I don't like your size here.
Mm. Okay. I am so suspicious now that he is just calling me because he has not been doing that. It feels like there you go.
Um,
There's
okay.
34, including him. So if I call him, that's going to be a pot. Yeah, I might as well jam because there's 34 in the pot. That includes his 17. He could have ace three. I was very suspicious that
Well,
he.
last time I potted the river, he'd rivered the set, hadn't he? I mean, I think,
It was very odd that he didn't bet when he'd been playing like he'd be. That was what was. I was very suspicious that he wasn't betting because he'd been literally bet. It felt like he was just constantly betting and raising, no
yeah.
matter what.
So therefore, would that not make you think that he's trying to set a trap?
Yes, that was exactly what I thought. But
But
I've
we've got
got
we've got the second note. Well, we lose to ace three and quad twos. Um,
yes, which makes me
so
think I should. Yeah,
problem is with the raise, and I have no issue with raising here in terms of like, do we think we ever lose? Almost never. Of course, we do sometimes, but like, do we think
we've
if we jam, do we think he might call a hand like pocket eights? And if we think he might, then jamming's easily the best line. And I think this guy might be live enough to call with worse than we've got here. So I think we have to go all in.
okay.
The guy might have 4-5 and just fucking pay off with that, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
Yeah, we have to
it
go all in.
looks. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Maybe we
what do you
still
got?
win. Probably going to chop a lot, but maybe we still win. Yeah, whatever.
E6. There you go.
Yeah,
I should have bet on the.
So
It
yeah,
was
so
yeah,
so what we obviously you've marked this hand because you've made, and I think it's good that you're doing it. You've made a significant adjustment to what theory would do, to
yes,
try and exploit an opponent, and that's exactly what you need to be doing in these pools. I mean, you've got
yeah.
unlucky this time because
The deuce
the
got there,
guys
got
the
in there.
guys chopped a pot and with a hand that was fucking you had absolutely thrashed. Um, But yeah, I like it. I really do like it. Sometimes
Cool.
we're going to go for exploits and they're going to be wrong because our read's going to be wrong on a player, or
Mm.
we're just like allowing an opponent like too much free chance at equity or whatever. So sometimes
Mm.
we make an exploit, it's going to go horribly fucking wrong for us. But
Yeah.
I love the fact that you're trying to do it. And if you had to
Mm.
read that this guy was just going to start freaking out with you check back, then by all means, we've got a hand that probably versus a 90% VPIP range probably isn't going to get three shits of value very often anyway. So why not try and induce some bluffs from someone who you think might be quite
Yeah.
trigger happy? I have no problem with that, and I like the fact that you are like thinking, right, I know what theory is here. Theory to bet, but in practice, I think checking might have higher EV against this guy because he might start turning hands that will fall to a bet into bluffs on fewer
Yeah.
streets. And if that's what you
Mm.
thought, then fucking brilliant, good for you.
Yeah. Right. Let's see what the next one is. Another king queen, three-handed again. It might be the same person by the look of it.
Yep, looks like the same table.
I probably do 4.5 again, don't I?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
check this one
Okay.
because that was what we
Because
talked
yeah,
about
because of the
previously, didn't we?
conversation we just had. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
King
I
queen
mean,
off. Yeah.
sometimes they're going to call with better hands. They're going to be like the guy, but they might have some ace high that's just calling. Our hand is going to struggle to because it's unsuited. It's going to be harder for it to realize its full equity. Out of position. Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing what you've done, by the way. And I think lots of players would raise this hand, but I think like we've probably got it. What our equity pre-flop here versus two ranges, even this wide, even versus 72 and 91% ranges, King Queen's probably still got less than 50% equity here. So,
Yeah.
in my in my in fact, let's actually just pause a minute and actually bring Equilab up and see what we think equity-wise we've got. So here we are. We've got the Equilab up. Got this thing here. If anyone hasn't seen this, it's just like basically something you can put ranges in, and it'll tell you like what equity you have versus other people's ranges. So we've got King Queen off. We know that, so we can put
Yeah.
that in. We've got some guy with a 95% range.
Yep.
Whoosh. So is it
And
breaking at
another.
90? Right. Well, why is that not fucking selecting hands? Let's just select a load of hands until we get somebody fucking 95%, shall we?
Mhm.
Colour this fucking board in a lot. I mean, it's going to be a lot of them. It's going to be all the suited stuff, all the pairs. I'm not doing a very good job of colouring. I never was any good at art at school, to be honest. What are we up to there? 62%. We need more. More,
I
more,
can.
more, 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 more. In fact, it'd be easier to
I can.
colour the fucking lot in, actually, wouldn't it? Just colour the lot in and then take some back out. That'd be the easier way
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
doing this.
I
Um,
can't see your screen at the moment, mate.
you can't, but the video will.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that's 100% of hands. So let's get rid of some of the absolute fucking worst ones. Till we get down to like 95%.
Mhm.
Um, there we go. 91% here. And all we've taken out is 7 deuce off through Jack deuce off and 8 3 off versus Jack 3 off. So that's basically one person. That's the other guy's 90% range. And then the other guy's got 60%, hasn't he? So we're going to be generous with him and not give him as much of this shit.
Are you taking out the actual top of the range, like aces and kings?
No, I'm just putting a lot in there.
Okay.
I mean, we probably should because you'd imagine they would raise a little bit, but nah, this is just like rough ass back of a fucking fag packet stuff I'm doing,
Yeah.
just to give us like a slight idea.
Mhm.
So that's 52%, 55%, 57, 60. So apply that. This might take a little while. Tell you what we'll do while this is doing this, we'll pause the video again until it's doing its thing. So we're back here now. This isn't complete because it was still doing it. It only got up to like 5%, but it looked like our range kind of capped out at around 40%. So this is the point. It's been long-winded for you. Fortunately, the viewers haven't had to suffer how long that's fucking taken. But basically, we've got maybe 40, at best 42, 43% equity here. And we're
Mhm.
up against two players where we're not going to be able to clean that up any. Fair enough, the guy on the button limp folded last time we did this, but the other guy didn't. And even then, we're probably maybe only getting up to maybe having like 50% equity, and that's if we get it heads up. So I think it's just too thin pre-flop because
Hmm.
if you think about like hands we want to value bet post-flop, on the river, if we think we've got a hand that's only got 50% equity, we don't bet it.
No.
We our value bets need to start at thinking we've got at least like 65, 70% equity before we even think about value betting. So why we'd want to raise a hand like King Queen off pre here when we're starting in this minute right now versus these two ranges, we've got around 40 to 45% equity, and then we want
Mm.
to realise that equity out of position to at least one player and against a bunch of calling stations, so we don't have much fold equity. I just think it's really marginal to raise a hand like King Queen. That's why I'm not doing it. I think Ace Queen here would probably, if we had the Ace Queen suited, we're probably getting up to maybe 50% plus equity plus a lot more post flop playability. So no, I've laboured
Yeah,
this point, but I do think there's like a big
it's a
enough
mistake.
difference
Yeah,
between Ace Queen suited and King Queen off here to make one a raise and maybe one not a raise.
I gotcha. Yeah, yeah. It's the cutoff basically. Right. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh,
And this is a prime example of now what? You know, we've got an SPR of 1.5 and we've got nothing, but we've probably still got reasonable equity. Um, Versus his range. If he's got a pair, we've got two overs, we've got backdoor straight draw, and
mm,
we might still have the best hand. But now it's awkward all of a sudden because like what? How do you
yeah.
proceed? I don't know how to proceed here really. Um,
He checks. I think I should check to be honest.
yeah, I think checking's okay, but then he just gets to bet range, all in. If he wants some, we just have to fold. If he's got
Yeah.
once we check, if he's got an 8, you can just be like, yeah, I'm all in, then, mate. And then we're just in a shitty spot, aren't we?
But if I bet and he's got an 8,
Yeah, he's not folding. That's right. It's a shit spot.
no. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, yeah,
really,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Sorry.
a
Yeah, yeah.
really
I
shit
caught up.
spot.
I caught up in the end. Yeah. I think that's better for my range. That. Oh, sorry. I clicked too far.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
realize.
wouldn't. I would not be bluffing this card because yeah, you're right. It might be better for our range. The guy's playing 72-6. He's got fucking crumbs left. Do you think he's folding an 8? Think he's folding a 3? I don't.
He's
I
not
don't. I
folding.
don't. I don't like the bet.
I don't think he's going to fold two spades either.
No, fucking no chance.
Oh, I'm not plugged in. One sec. Didn't even know that. One sec, Reg.
No problem.
Now we're plugged in. Right. So, okay.
Yeah, I don't like this bet. When he folds, we just had the best hand. When he calls, we just don't have the best
Yeah.
hand very often. And even if we do, we still got to negotiate the river. Yeah, I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like anything about that
Okay.
hand. But I understand why you've raised pre. Um, and
It's
I'd
a
be
mistake.
interested if anyone's watching this, especially people who like know what pool this is coming from. Um, what are they doing with King Queen? Do they agree or disagree with me with like how Ace Queen suited is a raise, but King Queen off isn't a raise in this spot? I think I've made a strong enough case for not raising it, but I'm interested if anyone's got any thoughts on this spot exactly. Please do put them in the
Mm.
comments below because I'm just saying what
Okay.
I think. It could be I could be very fucking wrong still, but to
Yeah.
me, raising a hand that's got less than 50% equity versus two people who've already V-pipped doesn't seem like a good idea to me, especially when one of them is a known maniac and the other one
Yeah.
has got 18 bigs to start the hand.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. I think I agree with you. I um. I just got lucky that his 72% range completely missed this board.
Which it will quite often,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is what makes range betting typically such a good thing to do. It's just
Yeah.
awkward against these stack depths because if they flop any pair, you have no fold equity, and that's what makes it
Oh,
awkward.
yeah. That's fair enough. Right. Oh God.
Same table again.
This is a fold. So, oh no,
No,
it's
it's not
three-handed.
a
No,
fold.
three-handed. Three-handed. Yeah, yeah. I've just realised it's three-handed. Right,
It's just
three-handed. It's a
button. It's
right.
just button. It's a mandatory button open.
Yep.
Three-handed, fucking million-handed. If it
Yeah.
forces on the button, we open 9-10 off.
Okay. Cool. Right.
Who's surprised that both players called with their combined 164 V, 166 VPIP? Who knew? Oh, that's a nice flop.
Okay. Ooh. I'm gonna bet my top two,
Now this is interesting now because we've
but
got
this
history with this guy, and we've got comments that you've made about what your approach is versus this guy.
I I think we have done this hand. I I think we've done them in the with the most recent first.
Reverse shot, right? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
but
That's
that's
it.
not relevant to what I'm about to say
That's okay.
because it's what we do now,
Yeah.
not what we did then. So if you knew now what you knew about, if you knew then what you know now about this villain, what would your line be here?
I would bet because of how connected the board is. Um, and I would bet this is a it's a sizing, isn't it? I think I would bet 1/3.
But isn't this the
Uh,
guy? Well, that not isn't. I hope you know it's the guy. So I'm being a bit of a dick with the way I'm phrasing the question. But this is the guy you said previously think bluffs a lot.
I do.
So you want to remember when you checked back three aces because you wanted to induce bluffs?
Yeah, yeah.
Why don't you want to induce bluffs now?
Um, well, I think because it's a wetter board, which is perhaps the wrong reason. That board was very dry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it was ace ace deuce, and I just thought he would because he knows the board's so dry. When I checked back, I thought he would interpret that right. I've missed that board. I'm going to bluff him off that board, even with my complete air. I think this board is quite connected, and I know he check raises, so I think if he's got draws, he's just going to check raise me. I think he's going to check raise me with a lot of hands, and I think top two is strong enough that I can call that against him.
Let's just check
Um,
he does check raise. If you just pull it
yeah,
up a minute.
that's flop.
Flop.
Yeah,
Yep. He doesn't check.
where's
His
the?
check raise 1 from 9.
Oh, so he's just check raised me. Okay,
His
does he
check
check
raise.
raise the turn? Can I check?
Yeah, but it'll be I mean, already the sample size isn't great. The turns is going to have
Yeah.
even less opportunities to have done it, isn't he?
Okay.
But he's got one from
So
9.
okay, 1 from 9. Oh, that's quite a lot actually. That's quite a lot. Nine opportunities and only to vet once.
And he's only
So he
donked
doesn't check.
once as well. So I'm going to actually say that your read that this player
Very
um,
aggressive.
is pretty aggressive is maybe not right. So let's have a look at his turn. Just click turn for a moment. Turn bet 33% river. Let's check that. Let's click on the
Sorry, mate.
river.
Yeah,
Yep.
I just got that.
His river bet. Yeah, now the river, his aggression goes up significantly. Flop is only betting flops 22%. Turn is betting them 33%. River, he's gone up to 50% bet. So the river's
Yeah.
where he seems to be most aggressive.
Okay. But if I build a bigger pot gradually by the river, then the size his bluffs are going to be anchored to is bigger.
Yes, and so now we've seen them stats. I like betting here, but your
Hmm.
read previously was that he
Was
was
wrong.
aggressive. So
Yeah.
your read was off, which is why it's really good to have these HUD stats and
Yeah. Yeah.
used and
Abs.
pull it up because you've said something you thought you knew about him when you could have just actually fact checked it and
Yeah.
realized
Yeah.
actually that's wrong. He's not aggressive
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
the river really. Um, Now, yeah, we saw him donk those threes in the previous video, which is just fucking random and call. But maybe it's just because mid hand bet, So maybe he's like, if he's got a piece of the flop, apart from that last one when he had too big a piece, it's complex because we don't know enough about him yet. We've seen him bet a three. We've seen
Yes.
him check trip aces, and then over the course of this sample, we generally know
Mm.
like he's mostly checking on the flop. Because he's only betting 22% of the times on the flop. We've seen him bet a hand that
Yeah.
shouldn't have bet, and we've seen him check a hand that should check. So we still don't know that much about him. I actually think
No.
now we should bet this hand. I think we should bet the turn, and we should expect quite a few river donks. That's if I'd have checked my stats there, I'd be thinking, right, I'm going to bet this flop, hope he calls, bet the turn, hope he calls, and if he donks a river, I'm probably not going to fold.
Okay.
That's how I like to plan things out ahead as best I can. I like trying to think, this is what I think might happen during the hand. And if it does go how I think it's going to go, I know how I'm going to respond. And then if something happens to change that, either the board
Mm.
changes or he just randomly check raises or donks, and obviously you've got to change your plan. But right now, my
Yeah.
thoughts are bet flop, hope he calls, bet turn, hope he calls, and then if he donks river, then just call the donk. But we'll see how the hand progresses.
Okay, there's
We
my
do
one
bet, yeah,
third.
no problem with that.
He calls.
Turn six, so
He checks.
one hand gets there.
Yeah.
Um, but there's loads of
Seven,
other
eight.
hands that have improved that were way ahead of because the guy's a 91 VPIP. So
Yep.
it does change the nuts, but I don't think it changes enough to make me want to check back against this
So
call.
I would say bet bigger in
No, I
relation to the
wouldn't bet
pot.
too big because like I say, we haven't got the nuts. Like the six does put 8-7 there, which is only a small thing, but I don't think we have like massive bets here. I think we have. I'd probably be somewhere around like 2/3, 3/4 pot, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what I do. Oh, I checked. That's a mistake against him. But
So
I
why do
this
you
is
think you've checked here?
because I want him to bet the river. But I think he would have done it anyway based on what we just said. But I think that's why I've done that because I want him to blast the river.
But we've got a hand. Basically you've got a hand that's got a lot of value here, and you're
And it's
turning it into
vulnerable.
a bluff catcher against a 91
Yes.
VPIP.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, just value bet your hand, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Mistake.
Because
I
he
agree.
can call here with 10x, 9x, spades, Jack Queen, Jack King, um, fucking who knows what, 6-4, 9-6. There's like way too much of his range here that's just going to check call. Yeah, if we get
Yeah.
check raised by this guy, we're going to be mightily pissed off. But we're, there's just way it's just not going to happen very often. And again,
No.
for the second time today we've been talking, you've checked back a hand on the turn because you've just been a little bit scared of facing a raise. Now you might have other reasons for it that you've talked
Yeah.
about, but ultimately here it's probably because you don't want to deal with the check raise, so you've just checked back. So we check back a hand
Okay.
that's a slam dunk value bet for fear of the least likely
Yeah.
thing. The most likely that's going to happen here is he's going to fold. The next most likely thing is he's going to call, and the check raise is the least likeliest thing. So we've got a slam dunk value bet against a moron, and you're checking back because you're scared of the least likely
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
And then that river's awful, and he's going to bet, and we're going to call, I presume.
That's a huge overbet.
Yeah, we just fold now, and we just don't care. We could just call with straights here, and not worry about it.
I fold. Okay. I did fold at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Oh, and I don't know what he had
Well,
either.
turn was a
Uh,
mistake. River
yeah.
wasn't. River was just. I mean,
No, no.
some guys bet 3x pot on a four liner. We just don't need to call
Yeah.
with two pairs there.
No, no, no. It's horrible. Yeah, yeah. I've made that situation really. Because I feel like he's more likely to bluff now, which is what I wanted, but the card makes it impossible for me to call.
It makes it impossible to
The
call
river.
versus 3x pot. If he bets half
Yes.
pot there, you just have to flick it in and call.
Yeah, yeah.
But when he bets 3x pot or nearly 3x pot, you're like, fine, mate,
I
whatever.
think it's 2x.
Check it
Yeah, I
down.
think it was 2x. Oh no, you're right. 3x. Yeah, yeah.
Nearly
Wow. Yeah,
3x,
yeah,
not quite, but nearly 3x.
yeah, yeah. It was a well, butchered that one. Right. Pocket tens again. Blimey, Charlie again. A lot of pocket tens in this.
Same
Right.
table again, but someone else has joined.
Okay. Fold. Oh,
Oh, we've done this dance a few times, haven't we? I think tens is definitely a race here.
I would not, if it was now, I'd go 6 or 7.
Yep.
Probably six, but I'd probably do 4.5. Okay. Oh, 5.5. Well, cool. Right. Queen, queen, 3. I'm on. He checks to me. Oh, bloody hell. Well, they can have queens. My God. I wouldn't be surprised if I checked this. I would probably, against 2 of them, I basically want none of them to have a queen. What do I want to happen if I bet they call? I think I would check.
It's a mandatory check. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything else to think about really. We might have the best hand. There's a good chance we have the best hand. I think we probably have versus their combined range. We maybe win this pot. We maybe have the best hand here, like 60% plus of the time, but it's pretty fucking thin. If we're starting to bet a hand that's only got like 60% equity on flops, and there's 2 more streets to come, we're out of position, etc. It starts getting very dicey down the streets. Because if we bet here and they call, then range has been condensed. So on the turn, we probably don't have. We have 60% equity against their range here versus their calling range. Our equity goes down significantly, and we might not even. I'm just pulling that number out of my ass, by the way. We might not even have 60% versus their range. You see, we might have less
Mhm.
than that. We might have a bit more. Who knows? But by the time we get to the turn, if we bet and one of them calls, all of a sudden, our equity's really dropped, taking quite the hit. Yeah, we could still be ahead of some stuff like pocket sixes that hasn't folded, but we probably can't continue betting. And then when we start checking, if they start betting, it's a tough spot. We just don't want to build a pot here, basically.
No. So I'm happy. Right. Let's see what happens. A 6. He bets half pot. Right. This is the guy who keeps betting all the time. But I should probably fold here, to be honest. But I'm guessing I call because
I would not fall to this guy in a
no.
gazillion years here. I'm
Cool.
more worried about the play on the button.
So
Like
if
slow playing something. I'm just always calling here. Pure, not even
so,
thinking about it. This guy might be. We've
I
seen what he's
call.
done. He bet a 3 earlier. He might be betting a 6 here for value. He might be betting a 3 for value. He might be betting pocket deuces. Because we've actually physically seen him bet pocket threes
With
on
pocket
king,
threes.
queen, fucking jack or whatever it was. We
Ace, ace,
cannot.
deuce, was it? Okay. Oh no, it wasn't.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're right. It was the
it
king,
was
queen,
when we
jack.
had
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top
yeah,
set of kings.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
there's no way we can fold to this guy. We just hope the button fucks off.
I call. Oh, 3 of us.
Yeah, now it's getting dicey.
So I'm ahead of this guy's perceived range at the moment, but I'm in trouble against this guy's range potentially.
Potentially, this is weird. I'm really hoping for either a 10 on the river or a check, 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 or even a queen. I wouldn't mind a queen either. But yeah, it's not an exciting spot. Fist pump checking, absolutely fist pump check here. Yep, well played.
Thankfully. Oh, pocket nines. There you go.
What did the other guy have?
Ace
Yeah,
5 of hearts.
no one's surprised by that, are they?
No, no. He was just trying to buy it, wasn't he?
It's just what he does. It's clearly what he does. We've
Yeah,
seen him do it
yeah.
before. Um, and I think now we can start to establish, like, because he didn't bluff the river, that maybe when he bets river, he's just like got value. Because we saw him bet the ace deuce on the river. We saw
Yeah.
him bet the pocket threes at river to set, and we saw him bet with the 4 liner where it's very likely he just made a straight, and he hasn't bet this river, and he's got nothing. So we can now start to assume that on the river he's typically like value betting, but he's very
Heavy. Yeah.
merged when he's doing it. So it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean we have to fold everything, because sometimes we might beat his value.
Yeah. Right. Ace Jack under the gun. Same table, possibly. I think it is. Yep. Right. Raise that. Same situation
Yeah,
exactly. Right. Okay. This is previous. Oh, um, top pair, top kicker. Does he check to me? Check, check. I'm going, and I'm going to bet a third. I think, but I think I possibly should bet a bit bigger
you should.
because it's very dry,
We
isn't it?
we know enough about these players now.
Um,
We
um,
should not be betting 1/3 in this spot. We should be
the-
definitely betting bigger.
no, we should be betting 2/3. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I should be betting. If I was, yeah, I'd probably bet 5 or 6 big blinds. But there we go.
Yeah, we know enough about them by now that we just want to get like, the board's absolutely bone dry. There's loads of worse hands that can call. They're both really bad. Yeah,
Hmm.
just we should be betting bigger by now.
I should probably bet about 10 big blinds now. But I suppose, hang
My
on a minute.
initial instinct was overbet, but I don't like that because we just block too many calls. And usually when like the turn's a brick, we want to be like trying to introduce some overbetting into our range. But this isn't an over. This isn't a card to overbet on because we block calls too much. But I would definitely be betting big. I'd be up at like 75%.
Okay. Does he check? Yes. Do I bet big? Yes.
Happy days.
Okay. Does he call? Oh, no.
Never mind.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. We'd,
That was
we
standard.
we'd
Yeah.
never check strong hands because we're scared they'll fold. So if your takeaway
Yeah.
here was, should I have bet this turn? Should I have bet this big? The answer is yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Don't check when you've got very strong hands because oh shit they might fold. Doesn't matter. Just fucking bet. Build the
Yeah.
pot. Build the pot. Build the pot. If you haven't got a call
That's
in
fine.
rate, if you haven't got a hand that can call tough shit. Never mind.
Okay. Same players,
And
more.
you've had a nice little 90-55 sprinkling his 7 big blinds on the table as well now as well. What
Mhm.
a fucking glorious table this is.
Wow. Oh, yeah. I know. Blimey, Charlie. Right. So he calls.
ISO.
Yes. 3.5. That's quite nice for me. And now presumably he's going to come along because he fallen. There we go. Top pair. Ooh. Right. Let's see what happens. He checks. He checks. Now I've got top pair with a queen kicker. There's lots of hands that can call me here, but this board, I think if this, well, I think I've got a bet because of who I'm playing against. But this is a quite a scary board. It could get scary, is what
I
I'm
think
saying.
it's very close between check and bet here, especially given
Yeah,
that we know that villain 19 has a propensity to just
he could have
have a
10-7,
have a
couldn't he?
little blast at turns. But yeah, but he could also have fucking ace five again and just have a stab at the turn,
Plus,
drawing you
yeah.
dead. I think this is really close because, like, yeah, in absolute strength, top pair good kicker is really good against these two players. But this board can change so dramatically. King, ace, nine, eight,
Yeah.
10, 7, they're all bad cards.
What? Yeah.
6, yeah, I wouldn't hate seeing a bet here, but I wouldn't hate seeing a check either. I'd be probably, I think my line here would be sometimes check, but when I bet, I'd probably bet a little bit on the bigger side. I think I'd mix
Okay.
between, and I don't really know what I'd use to decide which one I'd do here. Probably just how I felt at the time. I'd randomize purely by instinct and just like what I was feeling. And instinct's a wrong word. It's by what I was feeling at the time because I don't use a random number jet or anything like that. But I think this sometimes bets, sometimes doesn't. If you wanted to just pure check this, I wouldn't care. If I was going to do something pure, it would be check. But I wouldn't be. I'd be definitely be mixing here
Mm.
between bet and check because we're in. If this was against two players with like more normal type ranges or tighter ranges, I would check this all the time. I wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
But
That's
because
what
they're
I've
so
done. Yeah.
loose, I think there's probably some value in betting because we can just get paid by Now, if either of these guys has got a random 9x, for example, they're not folding. They've got a random 8x, they're not folding. I think there's just too
Yeah.
much value to be had, and we do need a little bit of protection. So, yeah, I probably would bet here, and I'd probably bet like half pot, two-thirds pot, something like that.
Okay. I checked.
No, I don't have
Okay.
any issue with that. The board is like the board. This board is subject to change. Like we don't necessarily, we might have the best hand here, but there's so many ways we might not have the best hand, even by the next street, like now. Never mind by the river. So we're not in a rush to build a huge pot here with this hand. So when we're not in a rush to take it to build a huge pot, then checking is obviously fine. If you look at a board, look at your hand, look at your opponent's thing, I'm not in a rush to build a massive pot here, because things can go pretty badly in terms of runouts. Then yeah, probably checking's maybe the best option.
Right. Check to me again with that ace.
Yeah, it's a mandate. We can't bet now.
Yeah. Okay. I've got the straight. And it's the nuts by the look of it. So check, check. Right. How big shall I bet? Whatever I bet, I'm saying I've got a queen basically. So do I
Yeah.
just go massive and make them try and hero, or do I go small?
What
Honestly, I
What do you
think I might
think?
as well just go big. Might as well just go big.
Absolutely. To me, there's no
Yeah.
other size here than massive. Um, at least pot, probably over bet, and just
Okay.
hope someone's trapped pocket sevens, trapped or no, like got king jack or king ten or whatever. Just you've got to hope someone's got two pairs that just doesn't fucking believe. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Never mind.
Never mind. Yeah.
Right. Let's go to the next one, shall we?
Yep.
Ace King. Okay. I'm under the gun. I'm raising 2.5. I get a call. I get another call. So I'm out of position to two plays with Ace King on the Queen 9-3. Oh God. I hope I check this because if I was playing this hand now, I'd check it.
I'm confident you're going to check.
Okay. Oh, that's small. I think I should just fold, to be honest.
Really?
What do I do?
Well,
I toss it.
just go back one
Toss.
click.
I'm getting it's.
We need
I'm
15.
getting.
We need 15% equity to call here.
I'm getting 5.5 to 1.
Folding here would be a crime, an absolute crime. Yeah, we probably don't have the best hand, but we don't need to have the best hand very often. We need to have the best hand one in six, and even if we don't have the best hand one in six
Yeah.
right now, we can improve to the best hand. This is never, ever, 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 ever. It's like we're not happy, but it can't be a.
Yeah.
It cannot possibly be a fold getting
Well,
this
I need to
price.
see. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if
So I
you'd bet
did
full
think.
pot or you'd bet three quarters pot, think it shifts things dramatically. But he's better size, and it just you can see down underneath the pot size. We need 15% equity to call. We can't fold.
I
That
hear. Yeah.
it's out of the question.
Yes. Right. I think it was the fact it was so. So if he'd bet half pot, it's a fold. Yeah.
It would be closer to a fold, but I would probably still not. If he bets half pot, we still need
Because he
25%
folded.
equity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
he's
he's
out of the
folded.
way. Even if it's
Yeah.
half pot, we only need 25% equity. Our two overcards alone have that. Now, I get the fact we don't get to see both cards. We're not guaranteed to see both cards for that one half pot bet.
Yeah.
But we can't even fold versus half pot. I think once it gets up to three quarters potish, maybe then we can start thinking about folding. But half or
Hmm.
this size, half or less, not a chance.
Okay. Cool. So I'm calling. Right.
We can start thinking about check folding now, depending on his size. Not against that. Just call again
Yeah.
and check. and now probably fold.
What the hell does he have though?
I mean,
That
we
was
beat so like value he has. We don't beat any of. We don't beat any value.
oh
Jack 10, maybe. Turn
8, 10.
spades, maybe. Um, maybe it's just a call because we're getting such a good price. I mean, we don't
Jack.
beat any value. That's the problem. We
No,
don't beat a single bit of value. Now, if this guy is this the sort of guy who's sometimes just going to take a hand like fucking King 10 here and do this, Ace Jack and do this, Jack 10, King Jack. Yeah, I think we just
8,
maybe
8, 10.
my instincts are fold because he's just not going to be bluffing very often. But he's got so many bluffs to choose from. He's 62 VPIP. Um, this is a good example of like when I sometimes make mistakes. If I'm just autopiloting here and playing too many tables, I would just fold this. I'd be like, right, whatever, fold, move on. I think if I'm playing like a fast forward game where I've got loads of time to think,
Yeah,
or I'm just playing like 4 reg tables, I think a call. So I actually think this is a call.
yeah.
Um, but
I
if
wonder
you're
what.
playing too many
Yeah, I think
tables, I understand why you folded. But I think when you come to think of it now, it's because his range is like we haven't done anything to filter his range. We haven't put any aggressive actions in. So he's got
there's
loads.
loads of missed straights,
He's
loads of
got
them.
loads of bluffs to choose from
Yeah,
because he
loads
gets
of
to
missed
this river
straights,
with.
and the yeah,
It's what Pete Clark calls his landing range here is really wide still. So he's got loads of bluffs to choose from. Yeah, I think we just have to call this. It's uncomfortable. It's not making money. It's maybe breaking even. But yeah, I don't hate the call here. My instincts at first were fold, but then when you look at the price we're getting, all the draws he's got available to him, it's just a sad
bloody
call.
hell.
Yeah, and what you need to
Yeah,
do there is you need to make sure you've taken a note. And I bet you didn't do this. And if you didn't,
I know.
I'm going
I
to
need
use a
to. Yeah,
word that I don't like using to people who I enjoy the company of. You're a fucking idiot. Because the guy's
yeah,
displayed some remarkable sizing tells here. And if you're
yes.
not noting that for
It's
future
got to go in.
reference, then you don't deserve to fucking win at poker. Because this is how you
No.
learn to exploit these guys. The
Yeah,
guy's
yeah.
he's bet fucking 20% on the flop with his set. He's bet fucking whatever it was on the turn, like fucking 7% on the turn.
Less
And on
than
the
that, I think.
river,
Yeah.
he's bet half pot. You know, you need to be aware that he's got nutted hands in his tiny bet sizes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That was quite an interesting hand, actually. Yeah.
did you take the note at the time?
Should we see?
Not now. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think I did, but
And
I will.
sorry,
Yeah,
sir,
I need to.
I'm gonna be rude. You're a fucking idiot. Because
Yeah,
how
yeah.
are you going to learn to exploit these people if
No,
you
I
don't?
have. Yeah,
I mean, poker's a game of incomplete information. You know, we know that already. So when we learn something about somebody like this,
yeah,
and we don't bother retaining that information, because you're not going to remember. This guy might have had one of those generic screen names like fucking Jumper Short 325 or whatever. You're not going to remember the guy. All you're going to have next time you play him is these stats.
yeah.
These stats don't tell you what sizes he uses. So you've got his stats, and now you've also got right. He's used this size with this part of his range, which might or
Yes.
might not help you in a different. It
That's
might
the
help you
that's
sometimes.
lit. Yeah,
To
that
you
is
to
literally the
just
best hand he can possibly have, isn't it? In that situation, because you'd think he'd three bet queens. You would think, some
well,
of the
you would
time.
think so. Who knows? But the point
It's
is that
true.
his post flop, he's had the nuts basically, and he's gone twenty
Less than
percent pot,
20,
fifteen
less
percent
than
pot,
10.
half
Yeah,
pot. So you absolutely you just deciding I don't need that information.
it's a
It's
mistake.
incredibly
It's
silly.
sacred. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah,
incredibly silly, and I'm glad that hand's come up because you
yeah,
need
yeah.
to after when we finish this session, go back to this hand, put a note. I keep all my notes in the client personally because I've got note tracker
On
and
iPoker, is it?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Ah, that's a good idea because the poker tracker puts them all in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
It
puts it
put
in.
the hands that go to showdown. They get end up. Yeah.
So
So by putting them in
I make my
iPoker,
notes in the
yeah,
client of like, and it's
yeah,
usually sizing tell related or like hands that I know poker tracker won't necessarily show up. When you bring a
yeah,
sample on people, a lot of the stuff just gets merged in together, doesn't it? It's harder to
yeah.
spot it. So yeah,
No, I know.
take notes, and not just you. Almost everyone watching this video will stink at taking notes. I
Yeah,
imagine 50% or more of the notes people take will be something like "fuck this prick," "this guy is a cunt," or they'll just be
ah,
negative, toxic. notes. I mean, I remember back in the day, half my notes had the word "slow roll this cunt" in them, and stuff like that. They were just like revenge notes. So the
Yeah, yeah,
vast majority of players absolutely stink
yeah.
at taking notes. They think their HUD
It's,
is enough, but the problem
yeah.
is you've got a HUD, and we already know you don't use your HUD very well. You don't you
You, you
you've got a really powerful tool, and you don't use it very well. You're also not taking notes, so you're getting all
the
this
nail on the head
information.
there. Yeah,
You're getting all this information coming into you, and you're not even recognizing. You're recognizing less than half of it, and then the
yeah.
stuff you do recognize, you're not even like using it to like adjust and try and exploit. So it's
No,
really important that you
to get more, but yeah.
yeah, acquire and retain more information, and then access that information in a way that helps you exploit players as bad as this.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Yeah, yeah. No, I
Right,
agree.
we've
I
got
need
time
to
for
start doing.
one more hand, buddy.
Let's do it. Okay. Pocket eights again. I'm small blind. Fold, fold, fold. Raise, I guess.
I would hope so.
Should be bigger. Do you think?
No, no, 3x. Well, 3.5x. To be fair, that is the size that GTO would recommend at 25 and lower. So you're playing lower than that. So I don't. It's an unusual size, but I have no issue with it.
Mhm. Cool. Okay. I think I'm gonna check.
Yeah, we have to check.
I yeah.
Mandatory check.
I think I should call.
Yep, mandatory check call. Nothing else to say.
Ooh. I think I'm gonna check again.
Yep, absolutely mandatory. The board hasn't changed enough for us to want to start having leads.
I think I'm gonna call again.
Yep, I agree.
Oh dear. So I'm gonna check definitely now.
Yep,
And
yeah,
I
fine.
hope I win.
Yeah. So what was your like? What do you think made you tag that hand? Because you're doing drills now, and you played this just like
Yes.
you play it in a drill, and in my opinion, you're getting ticks the whole way there. So what about this hand has made you think, oh, I wouldn't mind just double checking that? Because that hand to
Um,
me seems absolutely, and this isn't me being rude, but just bog standard, and you played it absolutely bog standard, and you played it correctly. So what is it? What is it that's giving you doubts about having played this hand
I
correctly
wasn't
or
sure
not?
if I was too passive post flop, and I think I just wanted reassurance, possibly. I think it is quite standard when I'm watching it outside, but in the moment, I have tagged it because I
In my
think in the
opinion, you played
moment,
the hand perfectly. And this is just this you marking this hand isn't
yeah,
you. It's a confidence issue, not anything else. This is you just be like, right, okay, I've lost that hand, so should I have done something differently to try and win it? Maybe.
yeah,
When actually, when in reality, you know you played it well. Because you've been doing the
okay,
drills and you know we're out of position. Um, and
yeah,
I mean, we probably check pocket eights on most boards, blind versus blind. Never mind on a board with an overcard and with them draws. So turn, it's an easy check call. Sorry, flop, it's an easy check call. Turn, we increase our equity. We pick up a good shot. So
yeah,
it's an easy check call again because we're beating all of their bluffs, and we might improve past their value range, and then river
yeah, okay,
just like it's a really bad card.
yeah, yeah,
And
that's
versus
okay.
a range that bets three streets, we only really beat some missed flush draws. Because sometimes you might have some straight draws on the turn, like 5-6, that's now got showdown value that doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
need to bluff. I mean, maybe the
okay,
6 does need to bluff here, but whether people find it or not, again, is a different fucking issue. Because if I was him and I had 5-6, maybe I would bluff the river too. Because I think the ace is a really good bluffing card. Because at five
yeah,
six, I don't think it has enough showdown value. Probably wins a little bit of money at showdown, but I think bluffing does better if you have 5-6 here. But
yeah,
that's by the by. Like from our perspective, you played this hand. In my opinion, you played it perfectly. And
Yeah,
so
like
the fact
two
you're
tick. Yeah,
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 yeah. So the
tagging it.
fact you're bringing it to me tells me this is just a confidence issue that you're doing the drills, and it's almost like you're not believing what they're telling you because you're asking me my
Yeah,
opinion when you know GTO Wizard's just going, yeah, there's two ticks Owen, there's two ticks Owen, yep,
yeah.
you're getting 8 ticks for this hand, but you think I'm a greater authority on this than fucking GTO Wizard, which is clearly nonsense, because
No,
that's not
no,
true, is it? So if you know this is a 2 tick all the way, then yeah, you bring whatever hands you want to bring to the sessions, of course,
no.
but
It's a mistake.
this
Yeah,
just it's a confidence issue because you played the
yeah.
hand perfectly,
No, no,
and
that's okay.
the fact you need a bit of
I
reassurance just tells me that all you're short of is just keep doing the drills, have more confidence in the lines you're taking, and then
yeah,
you won't bring hands like this as often. I'm not offended or pissed off you brought this hand. I just think it
no.
highlights that
I think it
that
was a mistake though. Yeah, yeah,
you're starting to do the drills. You're learning more about how certain parts of your range has to play in and out of position, but
yeah,
you're not confident enough that you know it well enough yet. So you just want
yeah,
to
yeah.
double check things.
Keep
But I imagine in game you were very confident this was okay.
okay, cool. That's all good. Yeah, yeah. No, I think yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think as I do the drills more, these hands I'll be yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
they'll just be
you'll play
routine.
this hand. Yeah, there'll be this will just be routine. Check call, check fold or check, and move on. And you'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, you had a queen, did you? Right, fine, whatever. Nothing to
If he
learn from
bets
that.
the yeah, if
Yep.
he bets the river, it's a fold, isn't it?
Yeah, because he should call pre. He should
Yeah,
bet the flop at some frequency. Not always, but he should sometimes bet this flop. He should sometimes bet this turn. He should always check back the river. So
yeah,
even though he's a bad player, he hasn't played this hand terribly either. So there's nothing to learn from this hand
yeah.
really. It's just one of them hands
No.
we've opened. Someone's got there. We've called two smallish bets because we had enough equity to do so, and then we would have probably folded the river.
Cool.
Nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing to learn from this other than give yourself a
No.
pat on the back.
Fantastic.
Right. Don't you go anywhere. Right. That's it for everyone. That's 2 videos over this week. Man, by the time you see this video, because this one's going to go out on the Friday, I think, I'll have done my 3 videos in between. I should be chatting with Simon tomorrow. And that might go out over the weekend, but it's Simon, and you never know. He might turn up, he might not. He might have something to talk about, he might not. But thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.